Now that the first 2 days of rookie minicamp are officially in the books for the Denver Broncos, we can now start diving in to some of the first impressions for some of these rookies. And a couple of them really stood out, including their first round pick, Bo Nix. We're going to talk all about Bo Nix and a couple of other guys who are standing out, some winners and maybe some losers as well from rookie minicamp. Now, before we jump into the video, I need you guys to do me a little favor. Comment down below, who do you think will have the biggest impact on this Denver Broncos team as a rookie? But also, comment down below, who do you think has the most potential for this team going forward? But with that being said, let's stop, yapping. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys want to hear. Bo Nix. Okay, now in his first outing, with his first time in Broncos gear, he actually impressed a ton over the first weekend. Now, Sean Payton is a guy who was speaking very highly of Bo Nix, specifically pointing out that his mental acuity and his mobility are going to be something that are going to be big assets for him at the NFL level. And there was a lot of good vibes, a lot of good reviews on Bo Nix from Sean Payton in terms of his accuracy, his mentality in terms of getting into the playbook, learning. The guy just wants to be the best player he can be. He spent a couple of years at Auburn, looked like a solid player, but when he transitioned to Oregon, the man took a new jump, which tells you right away, coaching means everything. And Sean Payton is a guy who has coached Drew Brees. I mean, just think about how good Bo Nix can be if he can develop going forward. I think he could be a really good player, and with Sean Payton as your mentor, I think it's going to be amazing. Now, Bo Nix specifically came out during one of the, post-practice interviews and said this, quote unquote, he's been awesome. He's been teaching me so much already, and he's got a lot of knowledge, and he's built a pedigree when he talks. And to continue to learn from him more and more as these days go on, in practice and walkthroughs, you can't learn enough when it comes from Sean Payton, right? So, end the quote there. This dude is going to soak up so much information. And you know what? He comes over here as a player who came out the draft as, maybe not the most potential, right? When so many guys went above him in terms of Michael Penix and Jaden Daniels and Drake May and J.J. McCarthy. Everyone went above him. So he kind of has a chip on his shoulder that, NFL teams thought he was the worst quarterback of the first tier, right? Now, when you look at his game at Oregon, he's already has good pre-snap recognition, for blitzes, knows how to counter it. He's got good hand size to manipulate defenses with aggressive pump fakes. He shows the ability to work through options, not just go look at one read the whole time. He knows how to go from, A to B to C, right? He knows how to go through his progressions, which is huge. The ball comes out of his hand with good pace and good versatility and pretty much no effort at all. He's got impressive run and rip talent through, throwing accurately on the move. He's a play extender, and he's also got an eternal clock, and athleticism helps him avoid sacks, toughness, and talent. I mean, the dude has everything you want a quarterback. You just need to iron his, the main traits, right? The passing traits, the accuracy. Once you start getting those down and being able to read a defense, point out what covers they're in, when they're in it, when they make adjustments at the line of scrimmage, he needs to be able to do that a little bit better. And I think, again, like I said, Sean Payton is the perfect guy to, teach him, to let him go through those opportunities. But let's move on to another player. Actually, before we get into the next player who's been standing out, do me another favor. Subscribe, hit the like button, join the family. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, guys. And we're going to be covering the Broncos throughout the entirety of the offseason. You guys absolutely smashed the first video. I think you guys got over like 15,000 views. Let's do it again, man. Hit the like button, subscribe. We're going to be covering the Broncos OTAs, mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, regular season, everything. Got you guys covered. But with that being said, let's dive into another prospect who's actually looked pretty good. It's actually an undrafted guy as well. I believe they gave him a little bit of a guaranteed deal here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Blake Watson, rookie running back, Blake Watson, undrafted, has been looking really good. Now, Alvin Kamara is a guy who Sean Payton loved over in New Orleans. This is a guy who has a lot of comparison to Alvin Kamara right away. Now, Payton did offer one aspect of their game to which they share similarities, and it could be beneficial for the Broncos, right? Now, he said, we use that joker term a little bit. that was one of the traits that stood out. He was one of those guys, again, in the 7th, 6th round, but we saw a player that was a natural catcher of the ball, and that was a big draw. So obviously, undrafted guy, they wanted to take in the 6th or 7th round, but fell to them in undrafted free agency. This is a guy that I would not be surprised at all if he carves out a role here within the first couple of seasons. He might not make the day one roster, but there is no way he doesn't make at the very least the practice squad. Now, Sean Payton has been utilizing running backs in the passing game throughout the entirety of his career, right? I mean, through it all. And that's why you guys should be really focused on Blake Watson. Keep learning, keep seeing what he's been doing or what he's going to do in practice, because I would not be surprised if, he comes out here, has, a good preseason and makes the roster. You still have Samaje Perine, you still have Javonte Williams, but man, in a couple of seasons, don't be surprised at all if the former wide receiver turned running back Blake Watson comes over here and starts earning some extra role. And then, quite frankly, I think there could be one day he actually is a big-time player for the Broncos going forward. Just knowing how he utilizes running backs, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And you also have another guy in the 5th-round running back, Audric Estime. He will bring kind of the complete opposite, just physicality, brute force. He's looked good in terms of just like pace. I mean, he's got the mentality, right? He's got the mentality that you guys would want in a running back, just downhill, get through defenders, get through tacklers, break arm tackles, and just fight for those extra yards. Now, it is a game of numbers, so those guys are, very useful in the NFL. You have Javonte, you have Samaje, and Jaleel McLaughlin, but these two young running backs, I would like I said before, hard workers, they're reliable, and they're guys that are going to be team players. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they eventually make a big impact on this team come, training camp. Once they start, getting the pads on, we'll see what they can really do then. But as of right now, in terms of first impressions, those are the 3 guys that have looked extremely good. Now, the last one I want to talk about here is no other than Troy Franklin. This is a very interesting prospect in my opinion. Obviously, the best thing you can say right off the bat is the chemistry that he's already built with Bo Nix. And that's going to be something that stands out. He's 6'2", 176 pounds, maybe not the most bulkiest guy in the NFL, but is someone that is a 4th-round pick, fell a lot more than I thought he was really going to. I believe he was projected to go in round 2 or 3, so getting him in the 4th round is an absolute steal. Now, coming out of the draft, he's a guy who, can hit corners and wicked crossovers to uncover on quick slants. I mean, this dude gives you a strong vertical push to drive corners off intermediate breaks. He can accelerate pass and stack cornerbacks behind him. He's got an innate feel for maintaining distance from the nearest defender in open space. He's also very talented after the catch as well, and one of those guys who, once the football is in his hands, he is a threat to score on every single play. Explosive leaper as well, upper body twist, and you can pluck it out of the air. This is the guy who I really do like, and I think, what stands out to me the most is just the chemistry that he already has with Bo Nix. I'll tell you one thing, if Bo Nix is the day one starter, I guarantee you Troy Franklin gets a bulk of opportunity because of the chemistry that not only they built already at Oregon, or Oregon, however you say it. I know I always mess it up, but also, now you guys they're in rookie minicamp, building more chemistry, getting into the playbook together, learning their route concepts together. I mean, dude, this is going to be massive. Bringing in a guy who's, played with the former quarterback, dude, you see it all the time, man. You see it all the time. I'll make a little bit of a example here. When you talk about CJ Stroud and Tank Dell, I know they didn't play together in college, but building that chemistry in rookie minicamp means everything. We saw Tank Dell dominate the next level right away. And when you look at, Troy Franklin and his comments, his thoughts on playing with Bo Nix, he said, pretty cool. Certain things are already there. Definitely a good feeling, but I'm excited to work with all of the quarterbacks. Basically just saying, listen, he already has that chemistry with them. He's already locked in. He doesn't need to, further that because he already has the bond that he's been building over the last couple of seasons over in college. Now, in terms of what he's going to do so far or what he's done so far, he's returned some kicks, returned some punts. It's definitely new to him, but I see them just trying to work him in. You see it a lot with wide receivers. I mean, you look at Xavier Worthy and just the wide receivers, Rome Odunze. All these guys are kind of getting on punt return early just to get their feel for catching the football. We'll see if they can actually do it. Even Keon Coleman, I think, has taken some kickoff or kick returns in practice so far. But when it comes to Troy Franklin, this is the guy that is quick. He adds a lot. He's got good size, good versatility. I think he's going to be a day one player, especially if Bo Nix is your starting quarterback. Now, guys, as we ramp up into OTAs and minicamp, we will be covering more of this. We'll be covering, Devon Vele, I believe his name is. We'll be covering a little bit more of Audric Estime, Blake Watson. Who else is there? There's Jonah Ellis, I believe they drafted. Chris Abrams-Drain. And I think that's it for their draft class. So I will be covering all of them going forward. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next Broncos video. Peace.